I began as a regular karate head, and in the 1970s, I think I took my first class in 1972. I was super impressed with Bruce Lee. I saw Bruce Lee in the 60s actually as Kato in the Green Hornet and was fascinated by him. And then when his Hong Kong movies started coming out, I really got into him. So I did what I could, and the closest thing I could get to there really was no kung fu where I grew up, which was in the deep South. What you had were karate, mostly Japanese. You had judo, primarily taught by ex-GIs. You had karate studios, but the Koreans, who have spectacular kicking techniques, which Bruce Lee used a lot, was ultimately where I landed. So I got my first black belt in Tang Sudo, which is the same Korean martial art that Chuck Norris um, pioneered and made famous in the U.S. And then my I went and got my first college teaching job at Virginia Tech and became heavily involved. I was the faculty and supervisor, or what do you call advisor for the Virginia Tech Karate Club, and I met the instructor there who had a private studio, and that's this gentleman right here, this guy, Ed Hampton. You can look him up on the internet. He has sort of gone into seclusion now, but in the 80s, he was quite formidable. And this man seated in front of him was his instructor, Jerry Jones. And we called him Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones was a Korean veteran, and over in Korea, he learned Mudokwan, which is another type, essentially, it's Taekwondo. But this is he learned the real deal. He learned hardcore Korean style martial art, and the story was he was a small man. He had a couple of interesting stories about him. One was that he was attacked by a much larger man who tried to bear hug him and do a WWE on him because he was much smaller. So Mr. Jones freed his arms from the bear hug and dug his thumbs into this larger man's eyes and gouged out his eyes. Now, that scared us all, and he was a pretty scary guy to look at. The other story about him was that he beat a bull into submission by kicking him over and over, as he said, in the brisket, which is the chest area of this bull, until he wore it out. So there's a man who pulled off what really there's only one famous martial artist in the lore of martial arts that reputedly pulled this off was Matsuyama, who killed a bull with his bare hands.